Welcome back, guys. This is Dreddeus with another episode in the Chicago Bears franchise, and we're picking up straight away after winning the Super Bowl against the Indianapolis Colts in a very exciting manner. We decided the game in our favor, 24 versus 21, and it was a real battle. You can see Indy went ahead, 21 versus 7 was the score after the first half, and in the second half we just really fought back very hard. Equalized within the last few seconds. That was absolutely crazy. That touchdown by Kmet. And then we went into overtime. A hard-fought battle. Indy has such a tough defense. It's really insane. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be wrapping up this series. We have achieved the Super Bowl win way quicker than I would have expected to. So what we will be doing is just moving through off-season weeks, analyzing the teams, analyzing our team, then moving through player re-signings and free agency and up to the draft. And I think we're going to cut it before the draft, basically just to get into position right before we would start again when heading into a new season. With that said and done, we're going to be heading into next week. The first week of off-season staff week. Time for a season recap. We're gonna take a look here. As you know, we won the Super Bowl, of course. 3 times NFC champion Chicago Bears have won against the 5 times AFC champion Indy Colts. We are Super Bowl champions for the 2nd time now ever. Justin Fields collecting the Super Bowl MVP. No surprise there, I would imagine. Josh Allen was the NFL MVP for the Bills, Coach of the Year for the Eagles, Nick Sirianni, Offensive Player for the Bucks, Chris Godwin, Defensive Player for the Chargers, Joey Bosa, Offensive Rookie for the Raiders, Emory Jones, quarterback, and Defensive Rookie Corey Foreman for the Vikings, a left edge. I think there's no surprises in there. The weekly awards, of course, Justin Fields, 25-48, he had a rough game. At first nothing worked, and then things got slightly better. Jaylon Johnson with a very important interception, picking up that crucial defensive player award. Jonathan Taylor, of course, was so good over the course of the season and also in this game. It was really hard to stop. And on the other side, on defense, Bobby Okereke really made life very, very hard for us. Oftentimes frustrating me. If you want to hear how he frustrated me, just take a look at the episode. I don't think you'll be that surprised. In terms of staff moves, we're just going to take a look here. Were there any surprising firings? Let's take a look here. So Nathaniel Hackett for the Broncos had to leave. Mike Vrabel had to leave. Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, was let go. Mike McDaniel, head coach for the Dolphins, was fired. Dan Hampton, Will Sanders, Chris Roberts, Matt LaFleur had to leave the Packers. So there's quite a few interesting candidates out there. Dan Campbell was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. Quite a step down for him. John Harbaugh fired from the Ravens. A lot of cuts there, man. It was a bloodbath, I would say. Zach Parker, head coach for the Lions. Jim Nichols, Roger Hughes. Moving into the week where we renegotiate with players, we have the mock draft number 3 to take care of here. Where are they putting us? We are a little bit lower down. I remember. Let me take a look here. There we go. 32. Tight end Jake Johnson. That's an interesting one. Texas A&M player. To be honest, I mean, I would be going for offensive line players, although our offensive line really is very, very good. So I don't really see the need to do that. But I reckon you can always improve even a very good team. In terms of retirements, let's take a look here. Harrison Smith for the Vikings, Michael Burton for the Titans, George Fant for the Titans, Cameron Hayward retires here for the Steelers, Ryan Suckup, Gabe Jackson, Morgan Moses, Brian Balaga, Chandler Jones, Darius Slay, Nick Foles, Stephon Gilmore, that's a big one, Rodney Hudson, that's a big one, Brandon Graham, that's a big one. Ryan Jensen, Micah Hyde. And now come the Bears retirees. Andy Dalton, our backup quarterback, retires. Mike Remmers retires. Denico Autry retires. And Jason Pierre-Paul retires. So quite a few leaving the league and leaving the game. Carson Wentz retiring here. What's that up there? Ryan Tannehill, Jason Barrett, Lawrence Guy, Taysom Hill. Just quite a few well-known names leaving the league and really disappearing from the game is basically what that means. In terms of Madden, players ready to negotiate leaves us with 4 players to negotiate. We've got Eric Gray, we've got Daquan Jones, we've got Calvin Noy, and Brett Jones. I want to keep Eric Gray around. I kind of like his explosiveness. Plus, he is just a player that that doesn't cost a lot. And keeping him is a safer bet than just going for some wild card rookie. So we're not going to negotiate with anybody here. The staff upgrades, going to be taking care of that next week probably. But for now, we're going to be moving ahead into the free agency week number 1 and just take a look at which players are going to be available there. Before we dive into the free agency week 1, we will be taking a look at the players that we scouted, how they did in the combine. And for instance, here we've got Kelvin Banks, round 1 projection, and he's actually not looking that bad. Great agility, elite change of direction, good jumping. It's not that highly rated when you look at the measurements, but the vertical jump not bad, the broad jump not bad either, but nothing that is really that outstanding here. Let's take a look at Elijah Pritchett. He's looking a little bit better, especially in the 40-yard dash. Second right tackle, very quick on that one. Vertical jump is high, 20-yard shuttle, also pretty good, very highly rated. Strength is marginal, that was probably something that will drag him down a little bit. Let's take a look at this one here. Fourth right tackle, sixth right tackle, and the 20-yard shuttle. Still a few not that great attributes in there. Tyler Booker, day 3 projection. Scheme fit. I like the look of him though, even though he didn't rank that highly, but for some reason I like him, especially the strength is something that stands out here. And he's got good awareness, good run block power, good lead block. Those are important. Stamina is not that great. Injury B2C, those are dragging him down a little bit. Run block finesse and pass block finesse, but all the other attributes look solid at least. Let's take a look at this one here. Tristan Lay. It's also not looking too bad actually. Good broad jump. Of course, the ratings are pretty low. We're down very far now in the categories. We're now in the UDFA section of the players that we just put on our board. I haven't been that active yet. All right, so let's take a look here. We're going to start with the quarterback position. Justin Fields, of course. We know him very, very well. 13th best ranked quarterback in the league. Just received a new deal last year, so he still has quite a few years on his contract. And I see absolutely no reason in changing this one up. So we're going to stick with him. We, of course, need a backup quarterback here. Seeing as how Justin Fields is 2690 and a superstar, I don't think that we need to go with a mentor anymore. We can now go with drafting just a replacement backup quarterback that at some point in time might even take over here. Running back section, David Montgomery, 2895, superstar Dave trade. He was so good, he was so fantastic over the course of the season, developing more and more into a power halfback, and that really helped his production a lot. Take a look at the yards here. 1,553 versus 1,593 last season. And then let's take a look at this one here. The touchdowns, 21 touchdowns. He did have the same number of fumbles, so that was a little bit not so great. But broken tackles, 84. Rushing average per game, pretty much similar. Also this one here, but this is the true standout development. 21 rushing touchdowns. Awesome performance by our starting running back. Behind him, we've got Treston Ebner, 2677. We have Eric Gray, who just received a new deal. Now we've got Braylon Allen, and then Jalen Berger. And out of these two, I'm not sure who I would go with, to be honest. I think that probably Braylon Allen might be the player to go with. It just looks to be a little bit better. I would keep these three as my starters, and then I would use these two here, of course. Something that I just wanted to check out is the stats on Justin Fields. 4,127 yards, 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And here we have 2,900 yards. That is approximately 1,000 less, and only half the number of touchdowns. Approximately only 1 interception. It was a clean season regarding that, but this year just way better production. The fullback, Jake Huggins, we're going to stick with him. I like his development. He's 24 now, 75 rated, 7th best ranked fullback. We'll just keep developing him, and he will get better and better. Catching is not his strength, right? So he dropped those balls every time I threw it to him. I just realized later on that his catching is only 75, spectacular catch 59, so just makes sense that he's not that great. But as a utility player, he's really good. The wide receiver core, Darnell Mooney, of course, is our starting wide receiver. Start of trade out of Tulane, 27 years now. And he's just a super solid wide receiver. I really like the look of him. He had a little bit more productive season this season. But again, I was just using the tight ends way more. You're going to see this from Kmet, but Darnell Mooney was really good when I called his number. Ikie Hall, same thing. He was just so good. Whenever I needed him, and he was one of those standout players. I think he even got one of those what do you call it? Just a special mark that he was an award receiver because he was one of the offensive rookies of the season. Chase Claypool, 2780. I definitely will keep him around because he's just super reliable, really tough wide receiver. Same goes for Equanimeous St.Brown. He's basically the same. I prefer Claypool a little bit. He just seems a little bit more tough, just a little bit more able to withstand pressure. 75 strength. Equanimeous St.Brown with a 68 strength, slightly lower, but he's quicker if you look at speed, acceleration, and so on. A true speed freak is Troy Franklin, who I would be ranking at, I think, wide receiver number 3 or 4 in the next season. He has developed very nicely. When I needed him, he was there. And that is, I think, the best compliment you can give here. This player down here, Devin Tompkins, I did pick him at a free agency because I liked his speed and acceleration. But at this rate, I will definitely not keep him around. We're going to look, do we get offers for him? Yes, we get really horrible players offered to us. Miles Murphy, probably not as horrible actually, but for the most part, none of these players would really help us too much. So I think we are just going to cut him, or probably trade him for a draft pick or something like that. I'm just gonna hand him to the Bengals now, just for the sake of speed here, and we're gonna go with a 2026 draft pick because I don't think that will get much more than that. So the deal is done, and we move on. Devin Tompkins. We've got a good wide receiver room. We can bring in probably one draft pick to help out, but to be honest, Darnell Mooney number 1, Ikie Hall, then Troy Franklin, and then Claypool and Equanimeous St.Brown. Super solid receiving core. Tight end room, Kmet leads that. Of course, Jeremy Ruckert, Noah Gindorf, 26 and 70. To be honest, I'm not too crazy about Gindorf, but Kmet was so outstanding. 1,217 yards. Those are wide receiver numbers for a tight end. I just like tight ends. They're super useful players, and I just really like using them when I play. Jeremy Ruckert picked out a free agency, super solid as well. He's younger. He's younger than Noah Gindorf, but he's just way better. So I think Noah Gindorf is also one of those candidates that I will be trading away, just to keep moving along. You know, those players that I won't really need that much. Is there anybody here that could probably be interesting? Miles Murphy's offered to us again. None of these players will be absolute standouts because he, of course, isn't that great either. I would like to go for a positional switch, but that is not happening. So we're going to be going next with the Bills, of course, taking a look at the draft picks and just bringing him some draft capital. Gitnorf isn't bad, but of course he's no real contender for the future. Left tackle position solid. Braxton Jones 85 rated, I like that. Pierce Fisher 2378. He will have a nice progression and will be able to take over from Braxton Jones in I think 3, 4, 5 years, something like that, maybe sooner. And with this development keeping at a steady pace, I think that he will overtake Braxton Jones at age 26 anyways. Left guard Larry Bourne 2683, Willie Lampkin behind him. Willie Lampkin has been revealed he's a normal depth rate, no surprise, but not much more has been needed here. Larry Bourne was super stable. I really liked him a lot. I'm not sure if I would give him a super long-term deal again after the current one will run out, but for the moment he has done very well. James Brockermeyer here at the central position. Max Mitchell behind him, also pretty highly rated actually in comparison to anybody else. Andrew Rame is going to be the third center. I'm just going to keep him here. I think he has some promising stats in there. 23 years old, so might be a good one for the future. The right guard Tevin Jenkins has gotten an award. He's been so good and really developed so well. Darnell Wright is the backup here, also a super solid backup who's young and who will just continue to grow over time. The right tackle Logan Brown out of the first draft that we did, 2483, and behind him Alex Leatherwood. I like this combination here. Logan Brown still not a scheme fit, but we will get him there once we have Agile fully upgraded, and that startup trait will help him achieve that. So defensive line, very happy, wouldn't change a thing. Left edge, Felix Anadike, Uzoma, Lucas Van Ness, also very happy with these. Viliami Fehoko and Ikena Enechukwu, those two I will be cutting straight away. I am not going to keep those two around. I don't see the point to do that, to be honest. And they will not be developing. They're just a little bit on the older side as well. So yeah, not really something that we have to think about. Going through these, it's always going to be the same players that were going to be offered for similar players. Darian Kendrick is here, and this is interesting. 71 rated cornerback, probably the best of the bunch. Eric Gentry for the Saints at 72 rated. That's also an interesting one. Probably we're going to be covering the left outside linebacker, so we're going to accept this one, bring him in, and we're going to be moving past that position anyways. But this left edge, going to keep that as it is. Right edge Nick Bosa and Tremont Morris-Brash behind him. Fantastic setup. Not going to change a thing here. Tremont Morris-Brash is better than he looks here, and can continue to grow behind Nick Bosa. And at some point in time, Nick Bosa will turn into a mentor, and then things are sorted anyways. D-tackle, Jalen Carter and Shamar Turner. These two I like a lot. We also have Justin Jones here, who's 29 and 80. I think that bringing in a new D-tackle here would be good. The contract on Justin Jones, let me just check that one out. We've got 2 more years for him with almost 6 mil per year. So that is that's something that we can keep as it is. At some point he might turn into a mentor, which will help these two again. But we need some more blood at the D-tackle position. I want to have 4 here. Left outside linebacker Aaron Beasley, 2481, and Eric Gentry behind him, 22 and 72. This is a new player that just joined us from the Raiders, and yeah, he's looking good. Nothing too horrible, and has a good overall. I'm just gonna check his contract. I just don't want to have any nasty surprises there. Sometimes when you trade for players, but this is beautiful. Below 1 mil per year, 3 more years. That's fine by me. Aaron Beasley is my starter at the left outside linebacker position. I'm gonna keep him I want to develop him further. I see no need to change this one up here. Just really like this player developing here. Mid linebacker, Kent Murray Jr. Then we've got Jack Sanborn. Then we've got Brian Asamoah. And this setup I like. I'm going to keep it as it is. Brian Asamoah will stay here. The third mid linebacker. Jack Sanborn has proven that he can also take over at the left outside linebacker position and the right outside linebacker position, so that is good. But we have a super solid room here and can really just work with the players that we have. Right outside linebacker, this is JJ Weaver, 24 years old, 82 rated. He still has a startup trait out of Kentucky. Is this player's former college 29th best ranked right outside linebacker in the league, top 15%. I think we can work with that. And you know, at age 24, nothing too serious. I might even put Jack Sanborn over here as a backup because he is really well developed. And Brian Asamoah, just keep him here as a mid linebacker backup. This is what we're going to be doing now. I'm going to do this with you straight away. I want to solve as many, you know, issues that we have straight away before we dive into free agency and take care of everything else. JJ Weaver, Jack Sanborn did lose 1 point from his overalls from the position switch. The cornerback room is really filled to the brim. We've got Jaylon Johnson, we've got Mike Jackson Sr., we've got Kyler Gordon, Avery Young, then Christian Gonzalez, Michael Ujimadia, Kalen King, and Jalen Simpson. It is time for Michael Ujimadia to move on. He's 27 years old, and this is not with his overall, I'm just not really convinced that I want to keep him around. Now, I'm also going to be putting Jalen Simpson onto the chopping block here. Kalen King, 22 and 74. That doesn't look too bad. Christian Gonzalez is 22 and has 79. And we just have all those players ahead of him. So I think, to be honest, Kalen King will also be going onto this chopping block here. Are there any teams that go full green on all three? I don't think I will. We go 2 out of 1. All right, so I think we can get a good draft pick out of the Colts. That's what we're going to be doing. Let's go to the second rounder. And boom. All right, done deal. Michael Ojemadea, Jalen Simpson, and what was his name? Kevin King. I forgot it already. Moving to the Colts, we are receiving second round pick, and that is clearing up space in the cornerback room here. One player that I would probably be very ready to cut is Mike Jackson Sr., despite him having a high overall. Kyler Gordon at age 25, 81. I'd rather keep Avery Young around, and I think that Christian Gonzalez will be overtaking both of these players very soon. But for the moment, I'm going to keep it as it is. Free safety, Julian Blackman. Is he back to superstar? Oh, he's back to superstar. Huh, all right. I won't mind that one here. 11th best free safety in the league with those superstar abilities. I'm just so happy that we got him on those super low ball offers. We got Damon Miller here, 24.76, and the strong safety position. We've got Jacquan Brisker, we've got Maxton Brannon, then we've got Ladarius Tennyson. And Ladarius Tennyson at age 22, I think he will be going to the practice squad again pretty quickly. I would like to see how he can develop in the next year or so. But for now, this is what it's going to look like. Cameron Dicker, he's our kicker. Decided the Superbowl for us, by the way. And the punter is Trenton Gill. Not too crazy about him, but his kick power is really very nice. All right, now we will be taking a look at the free agency class of 2024. Let's see if there's any big bangers in there. Immediately we're hit with a Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Rashawn Slater, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Reed, Tyrann Mathieu, Quinn Meinerz, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Nice looking outside linebacker. Elijah Mitchell, Christian Darrisaw, Michael Pittman Jr., Elijah Moore, etc. We're going to be going by position now. Do we get Sam Ehlinger, man? He led the team to the Super Bowl, and now he was cut. That is brutal, man. That is really brutal. I'm just looking, are there any super young players in here? Otherwise, I would just go for a player that's available in the draft. Zach Wilson. Never ever, my man. Elijah Mitchell, Liam Hines. Those are looking good, but we are really very well set in regards to our running back, fullback, also well set. What about the wide receivers? Jalen Waddle would be nice, of course, but we don't really need him that much. Jerry Jeudy, Michael Pittman. Elijah Moore, 0 offers. That is interesting. Rondell Moore, 1 offer. Brandon Cooks, 4. Rare McLeod. There's also quite a few nice players in here. Joshua Palmer, 25 and 81. That is looking good. But again, we have a solid core already. The tight end room, also interesting players. Noah Gray is interesting. Peyton Hendershot. Brevin Jordan. But Zach Ertz, man. I like him a lot. Really do. Left tackle, Rashawn Slater. We are very well set. Christian Darrisaw, we could bring him in, of course, to take over. But our player is 85 and 26, so that doesn't really make too much sense. And unless you really get a significant upgrade, I wouldn't go for a free agent right now. Wait up, what was a 23-year-old player down there? Who's this? Kaderi Coutinho, but he's 71. Yeah, no. Left guard, same thing. We are pretty well set with Larry Borum. So going for one of these players would really not make that much of a difference. I mean, Netana Muti, he does look tempting. He has 0 offers. Kendrick Green. A lot of players that I really like. I mean, I could just go for, really brutally lowball him. Tell you what, I'm gonna be doing that. 1 mil, 500k. There we go. Take it or leave it, my man. Center, Garrett Bradbury, Sam Mustipher. Yeah, so it's not real tempting players. They're all decent. Some of those that would be good to sort of buff up the team a little bit, but nothing that really forces my hand right now. The right guard position, Quinn Minards, 3 interested teams. Will Freeze, 80-27. Nah, same thing. Nobody in here that is really that convincing. Right tackle, Lael Collins. We don't need that, of course, since we have a way better player at that position already. Left edge, Trent Jones is the highest ranked one. Dayo Odeyingbo with 1 offer. Yeah, nothing in here. D tackles. There's quite a few interesting names in here, but of course none that I would go for without thinking twice. Bilal Nichols, probably. Fletcher Cox, I like the dude. Who else? Younger players, something like Bobby Brown, 3rd. It's an interesting one. It's actually a really interesting one. But again, I think taking a player from the draft just makes more sense at this point in time. Right edge, we don't need that. Not even in the slightest. Left outside linebacker, Demetrius Flanagan, Fowles, 28 and 78. Nah, these are not even better than my replacements. Mid linebacker, Ernest Jones, I like him. I really like him. He's so good on the Rams, but don't need him. We've got Kenneth Murray Jr. and he's such a beast. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. This is an interesting one. 0 offers currently. I can't offer anymore. Come on, man. 5 out of 5. That is strange. Is it because I gave that offer to that other player? What position was that? Was that a right tackle? Hello. Sorry guys, we are having technical difficulties. We're gonna withdraw that offer. I don't really need him, of course, and I'd rather offer it to this right outside linebacker. 89 at age 25. That is really promising. We've got JJ Weaver at that position at age 24. This would be an immediate giant bump. Huge bump to our room right there. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be one of those again. I'm gonna try to lowball him. He has 0 offers at the moment, so we might get lucky. And if we do, we're going to be very happy bunnies. If we don't get him, then it doesn't matter too much. But he would be a scheme fit. We're close to his home, so that is good. We're going to go with 5 mil. Let's just buff this a little bit. There we go. Length is good. Motivations are good. Let's see what happens. Cornerback, Jitobia Rusi. We have, what's this? Marco Wilson, Keane Cross, and Isaiah Oliver. Ambry Thomas, 0 offers. There's so many good players in here, but hardly any of these really get a lot of offers. Tyrann Mathieu at free safety is tempting because I just like the Honey Badger, but we don't need him. Don't want to enter a bidding war at the moment. Just doesn't make any sense. Caden Stearns, Trey Norwood. Interesting names. What's this? Strong safety. Justin Reed, Jordan Whitehead. Again, look at that, the ages. There's nobody that we need. We've got Jacquan Brisker there. And Maxton Brannon. Kickers. So many. Punters. So many. Could go for Tommy Townsend, right? He would be better than Trent and Jill. But we're going to go with the evaluation period first. Let's see. Click. Nope. Alright, so he gets a lot of other offers. And the main question is, do I really want to start a bidding war for this player? So we're gonna give him 5 mil offer here, and let's give him 7 mil on the bonus. And we're just gonna see what happens. Alright, didn't sign him. Doesn't matter too much. Out of all players, there was one, Tommy Townsend. I think this punter could really help us a little bit. Gilligan, but with a 99 kick power and the kick accuracy of 93, that is really pretty good, right? Plus, just get him for 4 years or something like that. He will hardly regress. Yeah, 1.5 in 1, and there we go. Don't even care if we re-sign, if he signs for us or not. All right, the free agency recap is available, and you're going to be blown away by my signings. I just brought in Tommy Townsend, just one punter. I think he could really help us just in getting those punts a little bit more towards the edge, towards the far end of the field. But apart from that, I didn't really go for anybody else. Going to be clicking through the signings now. Trevor Lawrence joining the Titans, Jalen Hurts and the Texans found a way to work together. This is going to be the interesting combo. Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle. T. Higgins also going to the Texans. Oh, they're going to be a tough contender. Rashawn Slater now with the Cardinals. Jerry Jeudy with the Cardinals. Justin Reed is a Jet. Tyrann Mathieu joined the Colts. Quinn Minards the Vikings. Jeremiah Wasu-Kormoa went with the Broncos. Well, good luck there. Elijah Mitchell, the Rams. Christian Teresa, the Broncos. Michael Pittman Jr. joined the Buccaneers. Elijah Moore also with the Texans. Oh my God, they really built a crazy good team. Gonna be moving through these. Who else went with the Jets? Who else went with the Texans? Let me just see here. Anybody else? La'el Collins, a right tackle. That's the offensive line buffed. Oh man, really quite a few very good improvements. All the good players, of course, found a new home. Donovan Peoples-Jones, another wide receiver. Oh my God, how many do they need? Anyhow, the free agency recap, that was that. The private workouts, gonna delegate that. Gonna move ahead now into the draft week. Time for a quick draft recap. I know I said I wouldn't do it, but I couldn't stop myself, so here we are. I went for Cam Dewberry, left guard in the first round. 32nd pick was what we had. No real needs on the team currently, so just went for this player, left guard, someone to fill the gaps on the offensive line. And I just like his strength, the lead block, impact blocking, run block finesse. Plus, he is a hidden dev trait, so that might turn out to be interesting. 72, not that high at the moment, but we'll just have to see how that develops over time. Second round pick was Darius Washington, a right tackle, also with a hidden dev trait, 68 only. That's a little bit sad because it's really a waste of that hidden dev trait, but whatever. Overall, I would say he's pretty well balanced, right? He's got 2 drawbacks, that's run block finesse and awareness. But other than that, I really think that he has some very, very good stats in there. Just need to work on him. That just makes sense. We've got Tyler Booker. That was second round pick number 32. Left tackle, 73 rated rookie out of Alabama. I like the strength a lot, but yeah, just a few more options for the offensive line I think couldn't really hurt. First quarterback I took was Drew Alar. I'm fully aware that we were picking pretty far down. Actually not too unhappy with this one here. He's a scheme fit. He's a practice squad eligible, but he's quite well rounded actually. Plus, he's an improviser, 74 rated, age 21. I think he can develop and grow nicely behind Justin Fields. We got a mid linebacker in the 4th round, Anthony Johnson, number 66 overall, 21 years old, out of Rutgers. Yeah, just want to sort of bring in there. I'm not really sure if I'm going to give him a spot on the team. Devin Brown, he had all Fs. I just wanted to see what happens if you pick a player like that. Yeah, there we go. He's not as horrible as I would have imagined, because speed, acceleration, agility, jumping are not that bad. But of course, he's never going to see the light of day on the Bears. And the last pick was a quarterback, Cade McNamara, in the 6th round, 65 overall, a field general. He's pretty tall, 6'1", a rookie out of not available. So there you go. Throw power, deep accuracy, medium accuracy, short accuracy, well developed. But I actually think that we found our backup quarterback in Drew Alar out of Penn State. All right, guys, with that said and done, I will now be moving into the off-season recap, and then we will be sort of starting to build this team together, prepping it for next season. All right, guys, we are at the beginning of the 2025 season, and this would be where the new season would be starting. We're going to be taking a final look at the Chicago Bears team now, as it stands after this offseason, and as it stands if we were to be moving ahead into this next season, and just keep continuing on this franchise series. The roster itself has underwent a few adaptations. I'm very happy about Justin Fields starting quarterback. I'm not even going to really think about that one too much. We've got Drew Alar here. We just drafted him, a rookie out of Penn State, 74 rated, normal depth rate, but very well rounded overall. Really liking this one, and it just looks like a good one for the future. The halfback room, David Montgomery, Treston Ebner, Eric Gray, no changes. Jake Huggins, fullback, no changes. Wide receiver, Darnell Mooney, Ike Hall, Equanimeous St.Brown, Chase Claypool, and Troy Franklin, no changes. Tight end room, we signed Zach Ertz as a mentor and as a bridge player, of course. He will just add that extra something to this room. That is, of course, still led by Cole Kmet, and Jeremy Ruckert will be growing under the tutelage of Zach Ertz as a mentor. The left tackle position, unchanged. Left guard, unchanged. Center, unchanged. We only brought in Andrew Rame from the practice squad, 2371. Right guard, Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, unchanged. Right tackle, unchanged. The left edge, also unchanged. Felix Anadike Uzoma and Lucas Van Ness, Nick Bosa and Trevon Morris-Brash. Right edge, D tackle, Jalen Carter, Shamar Turner. Justin Jones is here, Fletcher Cox is here, and this is a player that I just signed out of free agency. I don't really know what happened here, but he was available, 2379 rated player, Jacqueline Roy out of LSU. And I think this is where we part ways with Justin Jones, because he is 2981 rated, and I don't really see the benefit of keeping him around. So I will be just looking if there's anybody with a green edge up there, but it doesn't look like it. All right, so we're just going to be offering him to another team. I think he's worthy of a 3rd rounder. Let's see if that goes through. But yeah, there we go. So he's now a Viking. We receive a 3rd round pick, and we offload some capital. Yeah, there we go. Jacqueline Roy will be the 3rd D tackle here at age 23, and this is a really very solid D tackle room for the future. Yeah, just to reiterate on that one, Fletcher Cox as a mentor will be adding to the growth. left outside linebacker Aaron Beasley and Eric Gentry, who just joined us. Mid linebacker Kenneth Murray Jr., Brian Asamoah. We currently don't have a third mid linebacker. That is probably something that we could work on. Right outside linebackers JJ Weaver, Jack Sanborn as the backup. Cornerback room Jaylon Johnson, Mike Jackson Sr., Kyler Gordon, Avery Young, and Christian Gonzalez, who will be my CB3 at the beginning of the season. Of course, free safety Julian Blackman, Damon Miller, strong safety Jacquan Brisker, Maxton Brannon, kicker is Cameron Dicker, and the punter is now Tommy Townsend. The practice squad, we have filled that one up to the brim with quality players. We've got B.G. Williamson, Devin Witherspoon, Darius Tennyson, Tyler Booker, Cam Dewberry, Jalen Berger, Braylon Allen, Darius Washington, Anthony Johnson, Owen Daffer, and Terry Arnold. So some of those were added by the CPU, some I added myself, and I'm really quite happy about those, to be honest. So the team as it stands right now is a solid 88 offense, 92 defense, 89 overall, and I think looking like this, we can really just head into the next season without any fear of any hiccups happening. The team as you see it is the team as we would start the season. We are with a very good starter everywhere, good to solid, gotta put it that way. The left side could be improved on a little bit, of course, but I think that those players that are coming up here through the ranks are going to be taken over, or would be able to take over in not too long a time. Brockermeyer, Jenkins, Brown, we have very good backups, so the quality of the backups has gone up significantly. The tight end room led by Cole Kmet, Jeremy Rucker, and Zach Ertz, also looking very, very solid. The wide receivers, we've got Darnell Mooney, Aguiye Hall here, Chase Claypool, Equanimeous St.Brown, and I would put Troy Franklin even higher. I would put him as my wide receiver number 3, just to really bump that up a little. Chase Claypool higher than Equanimeous St.Brown. There we go. This would be the setup. David Montgomery, then Treston Ebner, and Eric Gray. As last season, I'm going to put Eric Gray above Treston Ebner. Justin Fields, this is Alari here. Pretty happy with this setup. We've got Jake Huggins at the fullback position. Defense is unchanged for the most part, especially the starters are unchanged. This is what I like a lot, right? Just continuity, that's what we need. So we've got Beasley, Murray, and Weaver here. Very happy with these players. Blackman and Damon Miller. We've got Sanborn as a backup here. We've got Asamoah here. Currently no further mid linebackers, but we can switch and shift, so that is not going to be a problem. Gentry as he left outside linebacker. Jacquan Brisker, Maxton Brannon, Mike Jackson Sr. is the CB2, but when I look at the others, I want to see Christian Gonzalez up here. And I'm going to be putting Avery Young as my CB4. And there we go. This is the setup. Back then, on the edges, we've got Bosa and Anadike Uzoma. The D tackles, we've got Jalen Carter, Shamar Turner, Jacqueline Roy, who are putting at number 3, and then Fletcher Cox, who is, of course, only the mentor. We've got Lucas Van Ness, who could also play D tackle. I forgot about that. I used him in my Rams franchise as a super solid player on the D tackle position. We can also switch Shamar Turner over here to the edge, so we have a lot of flexibility in terms of the players. Special teams, Dicker, Townsend, feeling very good about those. Then we've got the specialists, those are set as well. Let me just see here, did they just put Brockermeyer here? Well, alright. And then the practice squad, and you can see that the quality of the practice squad is also pretty high. We've got mid-70s. Those are the players that we started out with, mind you. I've got these players here that are currently on the practice squad, but with those hidden depth sheets, they might get a chance to play in the real thing. I've got Johnson here, who I did put down here, but he's 21 out of Rutgers. I'm going to move him up so that we have 3 mid linebackers. Rather have that than have a Sanborn jump around, although we could do that if need be. And then we've got these 2 players here who we could also add to the starting squad, and then just see how we move them around and utilize them best. this is the picture that I'm going to be leaving you with for the moment for this Chicago Bears team. I'm going to say thank you for joining in on this journey and joining in on this series here. This will be the final episode. We might be picking it up at some later date. It's just because I really like the team a lot. But we won the Super Bowl after 2 seasons of rebuilding. And I would even put the season goal for this season as win the Super Bowl, because it's just, I mean, we would just try and run it back. There's nothing else that we would do this season. And if you ask yourself, why was it so quickly this time around? Well, the answer is quite simple. We started with a very solid core. If you look at this screen here, you can see that we have Braxton Jones, Larry Borum, Tevin Jenkins. Those were players that we started the game with. We've Kmet, starter. Down here, Darnell Mooney was a starter. We still have Equanimeous St.Brown. We still have Chase Claypool around. So those were also starters. A very solid core group already. David Montgomery and Justin Fields. So out of all of these players, there's only James Brockermeyer is new, Logan Brown is new, and of course Jake Huggins is new, and Akia Hall if you want to count him, because we still have the other players here as well. But as a starter, I reckon we could count him. We had more work to do on defense. There's really not a lot looking the same here. But of course, we have Mike Jackson Sr., we have Jaylon Johnson, those are unchanged. And we still have Jacquan Brisker. But we completely changed the offensive linebackers. We changed the free safety, that was more by chance than by design, of course. We changed the edge rushers, and we changed the D tackles as well. It was just really needed to buff the defense a little bit more. Now it's a very solid team, very solid group of players, and I wouldn't really put it past them to run this back and get a second Super Bowl ring in the year after winning the first ring. So with all of that said and done, guys, I'm gonna say thank you so much for joining me on this journey here. Really looking forward to the next series that I will be doing. It will be the post-draft series, of course. That's going to be starting after the NFL draft 2023, and up to then we will be moving back and forth between other series. I think the San Diego Crusaders deserve some time in the limelight again. But this one, really enjoyed it. It was such a nice feeling starting with a good solid quarterback immediately. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, drop me a like and subscribe. That always helps a lot. It just means a lot to me. And with that said, I'm going to say thank you for joining in, and see you next time.